stuff like that.
It's a conversation.
We good? All right, y'all. Welcome to the You Weren't There podcast. New setup, new situation. Welcome to our new home. As usual, got my favorite guest on here, my boy Chaz DL. Give him all your information. Let him know about you. Let him know where you come from.
Chaz DL, you already know what it is, man. Listen, Google Chaz DL, CHASDELE, Instagram, all social media platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, ChazDL.com. And then, yeah, so you already know what it is. Also, real quick plug. My audio book is currently out right now, The Bird by the Door. It's Motivation for the Soul. Please check that out. It's something different for your ears.
For sure. And Black people, we need to read more anyway. Try to hide something from they had it in a book. So we need to make sure we're doing that anyway. Mm-hmm. So we back better than ever, man. We appreciate the love for the new studio and all of our new family. Let's get right into it. I know it's old, but I want to talk about it. Drake and Kendrick, who won?
Kendrick.
Okay, why?
Kendrick won because it was well thought out, and he didn't have the amount of hiccups I feel Drake had. Mm-hmm. He had some hiccups, and then I know people disagree with it. Oh, he got too personal. He just hit him where he needed to be hit.
I agree with that.
And then lastly, I just found out that Not Like Us had a sample of Ether. That it had that Ether sample in it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found that out. You know, TikTok. But
shout out to TikTok.
But the thing, I really, it was so strategic each play.
Right.
But then he got his coach behind him. He gave him an anthem. And if you give someone an anthem in the beat, that anthem, like the bad thing is, imagine when college homecoming season come around. Don't let the bands play that shit.
Oh man, and you know it's coming. Battle of the Bands. Somebody's gonna hit Not Like Us for sure.
Come on now.
I agree with you 100%. I 100% feel like Kendrick won that battle. It's not even close.
Nah.
The only reason I want to speak my thoughts on it is because Wallow, Gilly, they felt like Drake won that battle. I don't know if that's an industry push because they getting commercial dollars or what, but I feel like the only way that you could say that Drake won that beef is if you weren't smart enough to understand how Kendrick won that beef. No offense to them. But I think like, especially when you talk about like Wallow and Gilly, they street niggas, and I think street niggas often feel like because they have so much wisdom from their experiences that it means wisdom overall. And book smarts and street smarts are very different. And I think you need some book smarts to understand Kendrick's place. No offense. But for that reason, I really feel like Kendrick, I think he smoked them. I think you did have to listen to those records a few times to kind of get all the Easter eggs that he left in there, which I think is, to me, the mark of a great battle, right? I'm still listening to Cannabis when he was going at LL and finding things. So I think, like, to me, the show of, like, a great battle is, like, needing to listen to something multiple times in order to really get it. And I will say this. When I first heard Push-Ups, I thought, oh, it's over. And then I heard Euphoria, and I thought at first Tide. And then I listened to it a few more times, and I was like, nah, he smoked this nigga boots. And then I heard Family Matters, and I was like, I'm going to tell you the only misstep I feel like Kendrick had was I did not like the song that he made about Adonis. I thought it was very low class, to be frank. And also I thought it was very hypocritical. And I feel like Drake not attacking that was a misstep. But for me, I feel like Drake don't have no real niggas around him. The proof is how he handled this battle. You don't have no real ones around you, right? You not a real one. We know why, the Canadian, whatever, right? So you don't come from a culture that will understand how you respond to a nigga going at you, right? Joning on you. You don't come from them lunch tables like we do. So obviously, it's going to be a little tight.
All right.
But for me, I feel like you just did a song with arguably the worst father in America. Future has created 9 or 10 broken homes. You mad at a dude who might have created 1 or 2, but you don't have nothing to say about him. Ain't nobody talking about Rick Ross as no exemplary daddy neither. These are niggas who are creating multiple broken homes. They do so happily. They do so proudly. They think that it's cute. They think it's funny because they have money to do so. And I think like your Drake missing the opportunity to talk about the hypocrisy that is Kendrick when you're talking about the hypocrisy of Kendrick anyway. Let me know that you ain't got no real niggas around you. And for me, that was the biggest loss in that whole battle. You not having enough common sense, enough street sense, and enough real niggas around you to tell you that the point at which you talk about Kendrick being a hypocrite for hitting his wife, but don't talk about him being a hypocrite for talking about you being a daddy, creating these broken homes, when he making songs with, doing music with, going on tour with niggas who are doing it 100 times worse than you, to me was like a misstep on his part. I mean, so I feel like, you know, he missed his opportunity.
I mean, because he was already feeling the avalanche.
Yeah, so, I think like he started to feel like very nervous about how it was going. And I feel like the nerves were very reflected in everything that came after.
Right.
And that was to me the biggest disappointment, because you don't need, like, whether I'm nervous or not about like how this situation is going, joning on a nigga is joning on a nigga. Yeah. Cooking this nigga is cooking this nigga. It does not matter that I'm nervous or I feel emotional or I'm upset about how this is going. I'm gonna cook this nigga regardless. Because that's what I was raised on. That's who I am. That's the culture that I come from. Right. Him not having an understanding of how to do that effectually. And also maybe him like going at everybody all at once instead of focusing on Kendrick, because he didn't have the material and needed those other people in order to be able to like build those songs. Yeah, to me, it was very disappointing. To me, it was the most disappointing moment that Drake has had in his career by far.
That's a hard ask for him to point out, to go with everybody else, because I'm sure, listen, Kendrick know, but me and you having issues right now, right? So I'm dealing with you. I don't got
focus on me. And so then that became like, okay, well, you did this with Push, right? So you'll move, like that's what was Kendrick said in the first song. Like, I don't have to be calculated because you're not as calculating as you think you are.
Right.
You're not as good at this as you think you are. And I have let you live. I have let you hold on to the fact that you think you the best in the world, that you think you the GOAT, but I'm tired. You're not. And let's identify that. So, I mean, to me, like, you know, I don't necessarily know if it's going to ruin Drake's career, but for sure, and I doubt that it does. I just feel like, you know, when you move over to that other side, and I think that was another issue with that battle, it's like you have kids who have no understanding of the culture, no understanding of how black people live, think, breathe, behave, commenting on things that they have no idea about because they think they know through you. Yeah. What they don't understand is that you're an outsider.
Yeah.
Right? What they don't, and I forgot it too. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I heard Push-Ups, I thought for sure this was over. Man. I love Drake. I am a Drake stan.
My favorite one out the joke actually was Family Matters.
Word?
From Drake.
I get that though.
I was like, okay.
I think a lot of people
talking this.
Yeah.
He talking, but then the strategic move was, I ain't gonna let this breathe.
Yeah.
Boom. So
and Not Like Us was crazy. Because it was everything. It was like the continuity of a diss record. It was beat. It was the nursery rhyme of They Not Like Us. They Not Like the nursery rhyme was. That's Sexy Red's whole career is raunchy nursery rhymes.
And that's not even him. That is like, damn.
A nigga beating you at your own game is crazy.
You don't even make this.
A nigga beating you at your own game with very little effort is crazy to me. So I definitely felt like, you know, Kendrick was, you know, I heard Wallow and Gilly, and they mentioned Family Matters too. I definitely thought it was a great song. Yeah. I thought it was a great battle overall. I thought Drake was amazing. I just don't think that he was as good as he needed to be to beat this guy. I think he walked in thinking he beat the guy.
I'll say he was solid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When he did the AI, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was trash. And that's another thing I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about when I say you ain't got no real niggas around you. Because if you had one real nigga in your circle, they would have told you not to do that. You thinking that was a good idea. And listen, I'm going to take Tupac off the table because he talking about the family. That was a terrible idea. You doing AI on a nigga who could have gotten on the record because you knew he wouldn't get on the record. It was trashy. It was corny. And it really let everybody know that you was by yourself out there. You didn't have no OGs to have your back. And I respect Snoop for never talking trash about Drake in the midst of that. He did not like it. Yeah. He made that pretty clear, but he never ever talked down on Drake. He said that he appreciated the battle, that he appreciated these two young guys going at each other. I respect Snoop so much because he really could have cooked that nigga for doing that corny Bama shit. But he didn't.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of respect for the OGs in the game off that too. But for no reason whatsoever do I ever think that Drake won that shit. Like,
now, do he survive? Did he just put out something recently?
he put out that BB. He did that BBL Drizzy joint.
No.
Oh, that
I see somebody.
Delilah is trash.
It's
the worst song I've ever heard. I don't know if Drake will ever see this, but if you ever see this, it's the worst song I've ever heard. And the epitome of you continuing to prove why you don't belong here.
That's why I'm like, just disappear for a little bit. Let the people get amnesia. Let them get amnesia.
And that's been like sort of the nature of his career, is to kind of go away for a little while and come back.
Because he been keeping industry up, so he's every summer he's in your face.
But up until Certified Lover Boy, he was probably gone for a couple years before that came out, because that was supposed to be out the year before he released it.
Really?
Yes. Certified Lover Boy was a year late. So I think that he has been trying to maybe move more into a space where he has like more of a life, more privacy or whatever.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Really, to me, the beef was just proof that like of what people have been saying about him, right? You hit a nigga's biggest insecurities. You don't have no classic album. You don't belong here. You're an outsider. You don't relate. And everything that you know about the culture is what you got from other people who are part of it. So I definitely feel like, for all of those reasons.
I mean, so his survival would be the industry if they uphold him.
For sure. I don't think he makes the end.
That brown paper bag money, and that's it.
Yeah, I think you done with the streets. Like all of that like blicky, like gun talk shit. I feel like now for sure, like stay in your Canadian lane. It's nothing wrong with that. Like we liked that. Literally this is what Kendrick said, right? I like Drake.
They're making us dance.
Yeah, I like it. I don't like Drake when he acts up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna keep it going for too long, but for sure Kendrick won that battle. Congratulations to a GOAT. I look forward to the Drake album later on in the summer, because I'm sure it's coming.
Go ahead. He better not. Not this year.
If I was him, I would disappear.
Next year. But
maybe. I feel like the summer going to be back. I told niggas that. I said, look, Kendrick going to call that man a pedo and ruin our summer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Look where we are. No jams. No box. Now we stuck with Not Like Us, and we're not going to get a Kendrick album for 10 years. Congratulations.
Let the colleges run like us down, and then you come back.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so moving on, let's get into the WNBA. Biggest talk of the town, Caitlyn Clark. She came to DC, I want to say this week, I believe it was. Sold out Capital One in 30 minutes. That's an accomplishment the Wizards haven't done since 2017.
Yeah.
Maybe 2018 when we played LeBron, kept him to 10 points. Shout out to John Wall for that incredible game, man. People forget about how important John Wall was, man. But I'm never going to do that. I'm a John Wall stan, so I'm always going to shout out the boy. Man. Bring him back. Let him be in player development. But Caitlyn Clark came to the city, shut the stadium down, sold out in 30 minutes, went out here, cooked us. I think she had 30 that night. So
8 threes?
Yep. She had 7 or 8 threes that night. She was incredible. As we knew that she would be. But I think I've told you this before. I have such an issue with the way I feel like the media turns on its champions. Angel Reese is an established champion, was nearly a champion last season.
Yeah.
Right? And she's won a proven track record, right? Against some of the toughest teams. South Carolina ain't nothing to play with. They won this year. You know what I mean? So when you go up against, really maybe one of the greatest coaches that basketball has ever seen, but certainly the greatest coach that college has seen as far as women's basketball, in Dawn Staley.
She the real deal.
Dawn Staley, I give it maybe 5 more years. I think that she has things left to do in college basketball, some things that she personally wants to accomplish. But I think give it 5 years, Dawn will probably be in the NBA. At minimum as an assistant coach, but I think she could do a lot more. I think Dawn Staley could turn the Hornets around right now. Why not? I put Dawn Staley on the Wizards before I brought Eddie George back.
Yeah.
Before I brought Eddie George back, I would put Dawn Staley on the Wizards before I brought Scott Brooks back.
Actually, I'm
bum ass Doug Collins level coach.
I'm with you on that. I wouldn't put on. I'm with you.
It's a couple teams that I feel like Dawn Staley could turn them around.
She liked that.
So but I do feel like, especially with regard to the specific conversation between Angel and Caitlyn, to me there's a very clear and definitive narrative that's being run. I think that there is a white player who appears to be the great white hope of the WNBA, and she has all the talent to back that up. So it pushes an agenda where like it doesn't seem like an agenda, because she's very talented, she's very good, she deserves all the praise that she's getting for how she's building up the league. But that doesn't change the fact that she ain't won a goddamn thing. That Angel has, that she's equally as good. Caitlyn is averaging 16 points in the WNBA right now. Quite frankly, it's really just not that impressive. Now, I know that she's had some big 30-point games. Shout out to that. I love Caitlyn. I think that she's a fantastic player. But Angel is averaging, she might be the leading scorer on her team, but not nowhere close. She ain't nowhere close to Asia Wilson. Ain't getting nowhere in the region. That's the comparison that you have to make. If you come into the NBA and you say that you great, that you special, that you somebody, the direct comparisons come between the Stephs and the LeBrons and so on and so forth. You do not get to come in this league and isolate yourself as being great over here without the comparisons of those that are already great. You are not even in the realm of an age. I mean, not even close. You can't even play on her team.
She all right, her herself, she know that. Like, so like you said, me, all right, so let me ask you.
I'm gonna let you talk, but
right,
do she? Because for somebody that is eating off of an industry that was built by us, I haven't heard a statement from her as an ally yet.
Mm-hmm.
Angel made a point several times to say, like, we don't hate Caitlyn. We don't have a problem with her. Competition is competition. And if we were men having the same competition, you wouldn't talk about us like this. You wouldn't treat us like this. Y'all never say anything about these men, about the Draymonds, about the Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly is the prime example of, I think I wrote a song one time where I said, you losing, but you talking shit. Okay, Pat Beverly. He is the prime example of somebody who just loves competition. He ain't really part of it, but he loves it. So talking trash, treating people. Angel got snatched out the air by her neck 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she did.
That was a story for a day. They have been talking about Caitlyn and the little bumps that she getting. Yeah, she getting bumped around a little bit. Angel got snatched out the air by her neck, and y'all talking about it for a day. So to me, there is a very clear and definitive agenda to push the Great White Hope. It happened with Jokic. It's happening with Luka. It's happening with Caitlyn. And to me, that is very consistent. LeBron should probably have 10 MVPs by now. You gave Jokic 3 back to back nearly.
Mm-hmm. Well, they repeating what they did with Magic and Bird.
For sure.
So they finally got, but if you notice, it's all industries. We just got off the Drake thing.
For sure.
We got
There's an industry push for everything.
We got
basketball, because all of these are industries. I think we forget that as fans sometimes. That these are businesses. These are conglomerates, right? That's what they're running. These are like opportunistic monopolies being run in this country, and we love them. We're entertained by them, but it doesn't change the fact that they are monopolies, right? The proof of that is the fact that, like, the big three is in the summer, but you can't play there. If this was not a monopoly, right? And the excuse will be, well, we don't want our guys to get hurt. Look at the NBA. You guys getting hurt no matter what, all the time. We have no idea what these NBA seasons would look like because we lose so many of the stars. The Celtics, which we'll get into later. The Celtics had the easiest run to the championship that we've seen in a decade. And I'm not saying that they're not great, that they're not talented, because I really thought that the championship they lost to the Warriors, I thought the Celtics were the better team on paper.
They was.
I thought that they had the deeper bench. I thought that they had a much stronger overall starting five, because this was the beginning of the Klay's decline, which has been monumental. We need a 30 for 30 in the decline of Klay Thompson. Boy, you suck if you ever see this.
Everybody showing him.
You fucking suck. Basketball is a what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, facts.
It don't matter what you did 4 years ago. It don't matter how many championships that you won. You're not even gonna get to stay on your team.
He's bad because you knew where he came from. But he averaged.
Is that my fault that you set them standards?
Listen. Give me that 18 points per game as your third option next year.
Okay.
If you could maintain that, that's all I need from you. Now, the second option, I'm with you. The second option,
but they're playing. It took a season to play him as a second option. They had to, he crying. They won a game, and he cried walking off the court because he wasn't a part of the win. You telling me you want that nigga on your mom? I don't want that nigga nowhere near my team.
I don't mind that. That mean you care.
That's pussy.
That mean you care.
Nah, that mean you soft.
Listen. My man Kobe cried when he lost a game.
No.
He lost the finals.
No.
10.
Here's why that don't work. Here's why that don't work. They won that game. No, he walked off that court crying after they won that game because he wasn't a part of the win. No. It's always about the win. Kobe was about the win.
That's how much
he knew that he had to be Kobe to get this. He knew he had to be Kobe. He had to get the stats for you to win. But Kobe was about the win.
Yeah. I'm with you. Listen,
when Kobe was injured and it was Nick Young and them niggas out there.
That's why he get a pass. He gets a pass because he been through the war since day one.
Okay, fair enough.
So let me see him.
A warrior in every way.
He's been through the battlefield since day one. So let him. You get one more year. You missed out on the contract you was going to get. You declined. You're not getting that money no more.
Nope.
All right.
That was stupid, by the way.
You bet on yourself.
You took the money, fool.
You should have. So let me get next year, and let the Wizards.
You want to see if he can adjust to being a third option, and you think that if he can adjust to being a third option, that he would be special on that team.
Yes.
18 points a game ain't nothing to sneeze at.
18
for sure.
points
because
a game.
Caitlyn ain't averaging but 16 right now. So 18 points a game ain't nothing to sneeze at. We're not taking nothing away from Klay as a skilled player. The Lakers could show you 18 points a game. But I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like so much of why Klay is not valuable or productive is because of the fact that like his confidence is not there anymore. And I think that will get worse over time.
His confidence is not there, and then the fact that he didn't add to his game.
Yeah.
So now you're this late in the game and you can't even really get off the dribble nowhere.
Yeah.
You're just a spot up shooter. Okay,
but the crazy part is Klay was a monster on the defensive end. And that used to be his thing. If he was not delivering offensively.
The injuries.
I don't want to hear that. If you think you're good enough behind those injuries to still be averaging 30 and you mad at yourself for not, then make up for that on the defensive end. I do not want to hear that.
He can't make a defense. That's gone. His knees shot. Listen, I used to hoop. My knees. You can't. Defense is gone.
Crazy.
Now he still should be able to hit the three.
So
that's
now he's.
That's why I'm.
Now nigga turned into Andre Roberson.
Give me one.
Get out of here, like.
He a poor man. He'll be a poor man's Ray Allen next year if he do it right.
Wow. That actually, I don't have an argument for that.
Give me.
That was solid.
Or no, I don't even say poor man's Miami Heat Ray Allen. That's all I need from him. But you can't be my second option no more.
Yeah, that's done.
So I don't want that expectation on you at second option. But defense, he shot his knees. He can't do it no more.
Facts.
He can't do it no more.
Facts. We got off topic a little bit. Yeah. Shout out to Klay. Shout out to the shitty.
Get rid of Andrew Wiggins, maybe.
But I definitely feel like there is like a push that happens. Angel is averaging 11 this season. I think she's averaging
11-9.
11-9, 1-1. 1.9 assists per game, not great, but considering her position, still decent that she's on the board. 1.6 steals, which is very impressive considering her position. She's a post player. Post players are not typically known for high steals. She's averaging 1.6 steals this year. So for me, I just feel like there's a push. I think it's because Caitlyn is white. I think my biggest issue with it all, though, because I don't hear it coming from her. I have not heard Caitlyn be a real ally yet. And I think in terms of when people talked about how we don't hate Caitlyn, this is just the game. When all of this is over, we're still friends, right? So defending the fact that no, there's no bad blood between us. I didn't hear all I've heard Caitlyn talk about is herself, and I think to me that's very telling. And also, if Angel's going in these press conferences and saying nah, I love competition. They could knock me around as much as they want. It's only going to make me stronger. It's only going to make me better. Not Caitlyn. She went in them press conferences. I don't know if these are basketball plays. Yeah. I just don't I just feel like you soft, sweetheart. You should have took your ass to the big three because men wouldn't be knocking you around like this. They would have respected that you're a woman. They would have respected all of that. But you walking in here thinking you special after you haven't won a goddamn thing and thinking these are not basketball plays. Well, that happens everywhere. That happens in hockey. It happens in football. And if you ask any athlete, when you got the best player, quote unquote, the best player in the country playing against them, the job becomes to knock them off their game. And a lot of times physicality is a part of that. I think Caitlyn is phenomenal. But I think you not really built for this. And you ain't won shit. So you need this to all matter. Every game matters to you because you're not really a winner.
I'll say this. She ain't going nowhere. Boom. They chosen. She's
right. She Luka. She Jokic.
She's not going.
Them MVPs is coming. But you know what's crazy? You will be able to mirror the path of her career, I think, to a Jokic. I think them giving away these MVPs, they've made it a trend in the NBA, and you better believe it.
I'll say this, right? They give it away. Right. This is the flip side of it, right?
Wait.
It's a clear push, right?
Right.
and this is why I'm gonna go back to hip hop. It's a clear push,
Right.
but the talent there, like we said, off camera.
The talent is there. It's easy. It's easy to like hide the push because you're actually good enough to maybe deserve the push.
You mad? I'm mad handed you an MVP with this triple double. You know what I mean? So I got to be quiet. I can't.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So we're really mad at the media and the push, really not the player.
Okay.
So she's gonna be here, like I said.
No question.
Larry Bird in the Hall of Fame. He really a dope white boy. He really can hoop.
For sure.
I think the same would be for her. I
agree. I think she really that. But I just feel like,
but they pushing her.
She getting away with a lot too, though. Because if Kobe came in and was complaining about getting knocked around, these are not basketball plays. This is not fair how they're treating me. You would not respect them. She don't have my respect. That's just what it is. I think she's talented, but she ain't got my respect.
She ain't gonna get your respect, especially this year season.
Nah, no question.
She'll get your respect.
She ain't earned that. She running around here crying about basketball plays. And Angel talking about, keep hitting me. It's gonna make me tougher. You soft, sweetheart. Like
so that's what I'm saying. She's even for a white person, they put her in a predicament. Like I seen what they did with Eminem. They gonna put you in a predicament to where it's like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm the American darling.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to walk this fine line, and because she need to stick up for herself.
Right.
Or they're gonna have to get someone on the team to fight for.
But I would say that, like, as far as like her play on the court, I would say that she hasn't been taking it lying down. I respect that.
Right.
I just don't feel like she's an ally. I feel like she's some white girl who got famous off of a sport that we built, and she feels like she's different from everyone else. I don't think you're different. I think I've seen 1,000 U's. And I think that if you're not able to do this over 5 years successfully, nobody will remember that you happened. There's so many washouts that happen in basketball. I mean, that's one of the things you can count on in professional sports is phenomenal players who start off at the top of their game and wash the hell out.
I got a question, because I know you probably be more versed than me than I am.
Okay.
I know the greats in the WNBA.
Okay.
Women, they hoop harder. Who's the great 3-point shooters was WNBA? Do you know?
That's a good question. Maya. Top of all time. Honestly, she probably the first person that come to mind is Maya. Also, she just retired this past year. I can't remember her name though. She played for the Sparks for a long time.
Okay, all right.
Skylar Diggins was at one point. No, I take that back. She was that in college.
So they ushering in the first step of the
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because I can recall the top 3-point shooters in the NBA without like thinking about it.
Like I don't think
it's tougher for me in the WNBA too.
Now, like I said, I don't think she'll be the GOAT of it because one, there's so many previous GOATs.
I'm not counting her out of that race.
I think what's her Sajay? Did I say her name right? Who used to play with Angel? Homegirl.
Oh, Flojay.
Like,
Flojay, yeah.
Like coming in could be
I hate to even say it like this, and I know, like, as a feminist, this will sound bad, but I love that she played like a nigga. Like, she got pat like AI. Like, I love that. I think
she worked with Kyrie.
Yeah, she do.
So I can see her coming in being the Jordan.
I love it.
You know
but it's other women in the NBA who have similar game to that. They're not as well known. I can't think. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that's what Caitlyn Clark is doing, and I think it's very special that she is making these players, this league, these teams, household names. Mm-hmm. And I'm not taking anything away from her, but I'm just saying, like, be an ally more than anything else. That's really my only issue with Caitlyn. I feel like she's not an ally. I feel like she is what so many people in her culture are, which is someone using us to build themselves. No, build the unit. If you're concerned about the unit, it will grow naturally. Mm-hmm. But if you continue to focus on you, what you're not getting, the calls you're not getting, the unfair treatment, and they're mistreating me, like, ew, Slim, I hate it.
But like I said, she did to stay, and they're going to tweak the rules for
sure. And that actually takes me into my next point, right? If we're talking about the media turning on as champions, then we have to talk about, like, kind of the media's position in this overall, right? Now, this past week, we had Stephen A. get embarrassed owned, if you will, by Monica McNutt, who is a top tier player out of Georgetown University. Shout out to the home team. And really, Monica's whole point was, yes, you've been an ally with regard to women's sports. You may be talking about it more than anyone else, but were you 3 years ago? And the reason you're talking about it now is because everyone is talking about it. Like, the whole point of Stephen A. First Take is the conversations that people want to hear, right? Which is why LeBron comes up in every conversation, right? We could very easily, like, maybe skip a summer of talking about LeBron. I think a great example is Kevin Durant's second championship with the Warriors. LeBron went to the Lakers that summer. All people could talk about was LeBron going to the Lakers, right? The media could have very easily slanted those conversations to discuss the Warriors more. But the media is not really a fan of Kevin Durant. They think he's soft. Used to call him Cupcake, I believe.
Well, but like I said, it's a business, right?
It's a business. You got to give the people what they want.
But I was going to ask you, when they turn on their champions, when we say this off camera,
right?
Is that really their champions? So they may be turning on Angel Reese, but that's not our champion. Our champion is her, just
right.
Hot girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna turn on because they not really our champions.
Fair enough.
So, but even with LeBron, they really didn't want to talk about him because Jordan is their champion.
Right.
But he brought the eyeballs and the money, so he was
so huge. He is so huge, so important to basketball as a whole, male or female. LeBron is important to the game, and it would be difficult to have a summer where he's still in the game, averaging 26. Right, which is more than a lot of the NBA, and not have him in the conversation. So I feel you on that. But I think like Monica's point was extremely valid, which is like, yeah, you're talking about this now, but there was an opportunity for you to build this game way before Clayton came along, and you chose not to do that. Why was that? Right, and he went real quiet because he doesn't have a rebuttal for things like that. None of these men do.
He can't. He can really say, "Well, Master back here told me I gotta." But he can't really say much. You know what I'm saying? So she did have a point. So she really was talking about the heads behind him for real. For real. You know what I'm saying?
But also, she talking about the heads behind him, but she talking about him too.
Because he claimed he got the power.
Yeah, like you talking about it like you've always been an ally, and you know that that's not true.
Yeah.
You are a new ally. We appreciate you. We appreciate how you're building the game, how you're helping to turn this league, these players into household names. But just don't act like you've always done it. Don't act like you've always been in our corner. Don't act like you always made us the forefront of the conversation. And you acting like that's not true is why Stephen A. is like, to me, one of the worst journalists in sports.
So let me ask you, so should the WNBA industry even, should they take I'm going to go back to the Drake approach? Okay. Let me get this feature with him because it's going to.
Right.
So like Asia Wilson, she's going to be the first to benefit.
Right.
She's the best.
She has been the first to benefit because Caitlyn got that huge shoe deal with Nike. And people started talking about, well, Asia Wilson is the 2-time MVP and won a championship last year. Yeah. Why you ain't give her no shoe deal? Yeah. So I do think that like there is such positivity that comes because if you give Caitlyn these things when she hasn't really earned them, you have to give them to the girls who have clearly and exponentially earn them. Yeah. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see any problem with you benefiting as a bench player on the Warriors from the fact that they won, that they were a dynasty. It's nothing wrong with that. But don't pretend like you've always been part of it. That's my whole thing. Don't pretend like you've always been on just don't act like that's fine. But 3 years ago you was talking about LeBron. Like nothing about the WNBA. And I'm not saying that they didn't mention the WNBA because Asia certainly came up in these conversations. She's phenomenal.
But
right?
The Aces are phenomenal.
But you were not giving it the airtime that you now have to because other people want to hear this conversation.
Right.
You were not the first, right? And these things did not happen because you thought to yourself, we need to make an effort to build this league. They didn't give you no choice. Women's college basketball was exponentially more important than male college basketball this year. Who won the championship this year?
UConn.
Okay. Took you a second though, right?
UConn. Right? Yeah. No.
I think it's a lot of basketball fans that have already forgotten.
Yeah.
You niggas wasn't important this year. That's just what it was. Women were the conversation. So now you have to make them the forefront of these conversations now that these women are in a professional league. You ain't got no choice.
I always thought that low key women's college they hoop harder anyway.
And it's crazy because like I really felt like Haley Van Lith was terrible, but I am, you know, really like a fan of the league because I feel like there are so many girls who are talented.
Yeah.
Juju and
nice.
you know, I just feel like these girls have like always been this. I've been watching Juju since she was in middle school for real. They got her highlights on. Her highlights been on YouTube forever.
Yeah.
And Juju hoop with boys,
Yeah.
so she played like one, and I love it. I love seeing that like rugged, aggressive, like playground basketball from girls. Like I really don't love Caitlyn Clark's game for that reason. I love watching her shoot because she shoot the lights out. But I just feel like when you're talking about like the fun of the game, it's fun watching the AIs.
I mean, yeah. So those for a crowd of us that we understand it, but for the majority of the pop culture, they just love. They love the 3-ball.
For sure. We all love the 3-ball.
But I'm with you. AI, shout out there.
Had to put a woman in the 3-point contest against Steph this year. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta, but I love that. I love that we're being mentioned in those spaces. And I mean, I'm happy for anybody, who shows love to women because we didn't get it for so long. But just don't act like you're at the forefront of the conversation for allies when you're only in the conversation as an ally because you had no choice.
Yeah. But that's what they're going to go and they're going to pinpoint this.
We're not letting Stephen A do that. First of all, he's so wrong about so much of basketball. I would say if you really like calculated Stephen A's opinions on basketball, like kind of at the beginning of the season and then how things shake out, he's wrong 60-70% of the time. And that might be because, he was a bum and he really only knows basketball as a bum, bench riding ass nigga who like got involved as a journalist because there was no other way for him to have in, right? You wouldn't respect him as an agent because he was trash.
Well, that's why they declining anyway, because these the athletes themselves got the podcast and other opinions.
For sure.
That's what we going to.
And that's what we want to hear. Like, we want to hear the players' opinions on things. But also, like, I don't always love the players' opinions on things.
Right,
like,
really.
Jeff Teague is a great example of somebody who should never fucking talk about.
Funny, bro.
I hate his perspective
He's
on basketball. Because his perspective is like a mediocre player in the league who got to see it all from the bench and is now explaining to you why he was, like, shitty. But, like, well, it wasn't that I was shitty. It's that these guys were so good. Was it?
We need that.
Nah, he's like the Stephen A of basketball, and I despise it.
I take him over Stephen A.
I would definitely take Jeff Teague.
He's funny because his story is funny.
He's hilarious, but I hate the like bum ass version of like. I like Paul George, and I like his perspective because Paul George is Paul George. I don't love the Jeff Teague's like. I really wasn't shit. Like, and obviously, like an NBA player is still going to be better than like most people in the world in basketball, right? But we're not comparing you to the niggas playing up Watts. We're not comparing you to the niggas at Berry Farms. I expect you to be as good as them niggas, if not better. I'm comparing you to the niggas you play with every day. And when you stand side by side, nigga, if you was still on the Timberwolves, you would have got waived this year. I don't want to hear that nigga's perspective. I just don't. Like,
I like the ones who would look up like, damn, this nigga LeBron was like that.
Yeah.
This is why, because his levels now, you got LeBron. My guy's Gilbert. I like his mind.
Love Gilbert. Shout out to Gilbert Arenas. One of my favorite Wizards ever, right on the John.
I need that funny experience of, wow, damn, this almost dunked me. I like to hear those stories.
I love that. I do. I love Gilbert's perspective. I love a funny perspective. But I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes Jeff Teague, he get on my nerves because he does come from like a loser's perspective. Like, I don't love that.
I dropped 25, 30 before.
Yeah, before.
Let me tell you that story when I dropped 30 on such and such.
What was your average, nigga? Like, that's what I would like to do. What was your average?
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? But either way, like, I think that, like, basketball is better than ever. But I just feel like stay in your lane kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think stay in your lane is good.
Yeah, so like we said, they gonna push it. Like they chose They chose
who they chose, and rightfully so. We're not saying that Caitlyn is not amazing as a player. For sure, she's amazing as a player. But I think like there's clearly a reason why she's the favorite, and also why she's not really getting the criticism on the mistakes that Angel or Aaliyah or like, a lot of the other girls in the industry are getting. Like, I feel like that's a problem for me. But I mean, shout out to the WNBA. We love them. We want to see more of it. We want to see more of it on First Take, on Sports Center, on Colin Cowherd, who I don't think talks about women at all, at least not in a positive light. Colin Cowherd, you're a dick. But at the end of the day, like, I do like love the push towards a more woman-centric sports universe. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with it.
Next on our show, we got to talk about it. Power premiere. came out. I saw Thursday at midnight. I don't know about you. You know what I'm saying?
I caught it. Mm-hmm.
Power's back. Crazy that they're canceling Power. We got to mention it. As we know, season 4 of Power Book 2 is going to be the last one, kind of. You never know with the Power universe.
For now.
But for now, season 4 is going to be the last one. I'm sad about it. I think it's odd that you take not just the most popular show, but the most successful show. Power Book 2's premiere last season was number 1 on that network. It's a lot of white shows on there. It was the number 1 show. It is the number 1 show on that network. I do think it's odd when you cancel and view the number 1 network on your show as expendable. And I don't think that if these were white people, say, for example, this was House of Cards. I don't think if House of Cards was the most popular show on the network after its 4th season, that you would be canceling it to remove its budget to pass out to the other shows. That to me does not make sense, and I have a problem with it. But I'm going to say that because I'm a fan. But Power is back, episode 1. We're going to spoil it, so if you haven't seen it, you know what I'm saying, you might want to turn this thing on. I'm going to spoil it. I seen it. Your ass should have watched it on midnight on Thursday. But Tariq back. Him and Brayden happen to make it out. Kane gets shot. Effie. Let me tell you something. Alex Lepre as an actress, I feel like we don't give enough credit to the incredible acting ability of these youngins. Because, I hate Effie. And I really was hoping they popped her episode 1. Spoiler, they don't pop Effie episode 1. And she's still in love with Tariq with her slutty, confused ass. Last season, she talking about what about her future? What about Italy? Was that just nothing? And now here you are, fucking Kane once again.
At least she gave your boy
but giving the boy the heads up. I don't understand her. Bitch, what do you want? I don't understand Effie at all. Alex, you're doing that. Alex is cooking that role. Because I can't stand this hoe. And I know that that's sheer acting ability. But I don't like that bitch. Most treacherous, traitorous hoe in the Power unit. And let me tell you something. The hoe been treacherous and traitorous from the beginning. She the whole reason that Tariq is in this situation. She got that man thrown out of school. Because he was taking her clientele. Because he's a better drug dealer than her. Because he's smarter than her. She been treacherous from the beginning. The bitch wasn't on 3 episodes and ruined a nigga life.
I mean, but she kind of told you going in.
For sure.
For sure. Who I am.
We knew going in. She was treacherous from the very beginning. Got Tariq put out a choke when he was in school. So she's been this way, and they their development of those treacherous ways, us feeling like, well, maybe she's grown, maybe she's changed, maybe it's different, only for her to go back to all that she know. Leopards don't change their spots, baby.
Not yet.
And she for sure is the proof that people don't change.
Not yet. So
whenever they show you from the beginning, that's who they are.
You think she gonna? I think she gonna have a long little.
Nah, my hope. I told you this. My hope is that they bring Lauren back because Lauren is the one that Tariq really wants. You got to think Effie is only the girlfriend because of the fact that he was having problems with Lauren. When Lauren snitched on The Wire, that's when Effie moved in. Yeah. Right? And even when, I remember back to, because mind you, I kind of, rewatched a couple of episodes to sort of get myself familiar. And I remember Tariq was supposed to be going out to lunch with Lauren and her parents homecoming weekend. Right? Effie popped up because she wanted to know the lay of the land so she could sell coke that weekend during parents' weekend because Stansfield was playing Yale. Right? Lauren was in that room. Right? And he was like, yo, you're interrupting. I'm busy. Right? She came in being all cute, being all flirty, messing with the girl that she know he and she left. And that one move is how she continued to work her way in. Right. The only reason she was there was because he was mad at Lauren. That's it. There's no other, you was not going to be the one. She was never the one. Really? He might have hit you a couple times, but the nigga Tariq hitting everything on the show. Hit Diana too. So he could have hit Mary if he really wanted to.
You said Lauren coming back, right? Because
I think Lauren gonna come back, and I hope she smoke Effie. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see Lauren come back and smoke. Listen, that little conversation that they had in jail, I don't know.
Because my question is because the writing is very similar to. He's mimicking his father.
They have a style. He's
mimicking because he's gonna grow up in the style. He hated Ghost, but he end up going to be Ghost.
Side note: there's a reason that they write these shows this way. So I remember I was watching Courtney Kemp. She was doing an interview and she was talking about, when the original Power came out, they had to like build an audience from scratch, right? They didn't have any built-in fan bases with any of these actors because most of them were new and they were young. Yeah. So they had to create an audience. In order to create the audience, what they did was to put a cliffhanger every episode. That was how they designed it. Because if you have no idea what's going on with the show, you can come back next week. Yeah. And so that has become the style of all of the shows within the Power universe. Kanan is like that. Force is like that. Power Book 2 is like that. The only show that I feel like took a slight break from it was maybe BMF this season. And to be honest, the 1 or 2 episodes where Meech had a good day, to me, were kind of boring. Because I think I'm so used to the cliffhanger style. So a nigga getting a break, a nigga having a good day, a nigga not getting shot at the day was kind of weird. I was like, this is boring, bro. Somebody pop this nigga. Like, it was weird to me.
Can we have a good day, please?
That's what I'm saying. And you know what's crazy? I say that about Power Book 2 all the time. Like, damn, give Tariq one good day. But that's the formatting of the show. Yeah. It's to make it so that you have to come back next week to see what's going on. So just a side note there that they do that on purpose. Yeah. But I genuinely feel like Effie should have got popped first episode.
Damn, man, but if she looked out this one, so
that's the only reason she to get popped.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate her.
You know what I'm saying? She gonna look out again because he actually let her live for real.
For sure.
So she always gonna have an attachment to him. You know what I'm saying?
And got her out of jail.
She would get so
could have left her in there.
She could have left her in there. So she always gonna have some sense of loyalty to him until he do something again.
You gonna pop Effie? I hope that Lauren comes back and pops Effie. I feel like that's what she deserves. I would love to see the girl that he really want smoke the bitch who thought she was special.
Lauren gonna grow up. Well, it's the last one. Damn.
Last one. You're not gonna get that. That's what I'm saying. You're not gonna get. I had hoped for that too. I had hoped that Tariq would graduate from school and run into Lauren 2 years later when she in law school, and really like, can we successfully live out this Angela Valdez thing?
He gonna be with either Effie or one of them other girls. And then he gonna learn that I ain't really love you. I love this one right here. I'm trying to get out this life. No, Tariq, don't do it.
For sure. But you know what? One thing I would say about Effie is that I think the weird thing about her is like she did not want the life. She had plans because she was talking about going into like a master's program for like engineering in California. She wanted to leave all of that behind. So I felt like, were they like playing tricks on us? Was she really the real Angela Valdez? Like, because she understood the game, but just also understood like that there has to be an end to this. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you why I don't like Effie's character. This big, dumb, goofy bitch talking about she want out of the life, and then she permanently locks herself into Noma by snitching on Tariq about the daughter.
I mean, she was.
Now you stuck with this whole forever.
She was panicking about not being able to pay for the rest of her way. She was out. She was dry. She was dry.
That's true.
And so I need.
And that money make a treacherous bitch do treacherous things.
Every time.
Man. But I personally would have liked to see her get smoked. Episode 1. And I'm gonna tell you and this is my prediction. I want to say it while we in episode 1, so that if it happens, I get credit for this. I think that everybody's gonna die. I think everybody's going to die. I think Monet is going to end up having to sacrifice her life for those children. I think they're going to end up getting smoked anyway because they're awful people. Diana is a lying, treacherous, nosy bitch. Drew is too soft for the industry, and Kane is a loose cannon who already crashed out first episode, and that crash out will probably be legendary by the end of the season. So I think Monet going to end up getting killed trying to protect those kids. The kids going to die anyway, and I think Ghost, the real Ghost, coming back last episode of the season, and he gonna save Tariq, and I think that's how it ends, because I think that's a perfect way to bring in origins, right? They want to bring in the origin story. What better way than to remind you that Ghost's not even dead?
Let me ask you, but if they didn't know it was ending, right, that leaves majority or at least half is still living.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I know
if they didn't know it was ending, it's very possible. I'm gonna tell you who I think getting smoked. Like, so let's say that they wrote it from a perspective of they didn't know it was going to get killed.
Right.
I think regardless of that, I think Drew getting smoked because he's the least important.
He needs to.
He's the least important and the worst character. We hate you, Drew.
I know. We hate your character. You talking about last season?
We hate you.
I wish he got smoked last season.
I wish he would have got smoked last season. I wish Gordo would have got your ass. I hate Drew's character.
Sex scene with.
I hate it. Listen, do what you do, love who you love. I don't care nothing about that. I just feel like he got the worst outfits on the show. He's by far the worst dressed. And I know you're picking your own clothes, Lavelle, so it's a problem. You're the biggest bam on the show. You're the biggest cornball. I hate your haircut. And I just feel like the way they wrote his story made him the least important of those kids. He's the one that if he died next episode, you're not going to miss him because he's not important. I hate Drew's character because they made him so unimportant. Once he stopped dealing with the nigga on Zeke's team, it just felt like they wrote the story in a way where like you didn't have to care about him.
And it's sad because I really think he has potential to
for sure.
Actually really
it's not Lavelle. It's not the dude playing Drew's character. Because the scene where he ran into his ex-boyfriend at the bar after he found out that he came out as gay and had a new white celebrity housewife, the way he reacted in that bar, so this boy, he can act. I felt it. But I just feel like the way they've written the show is like by far it made him the least unimportant. But I feel like for sure Drew getting smoked, Diana getting smoked because what she did to
I don't think Diana getting smoked.
I think Diana getting smoked. I disagree with you there.
She's not getting smoked.
I disagree with you there. But we could talk about power all day. You know what I mean? So we're gonna cut it off, man. We definitely gonna talk about episode 2. That's probably gonna be like something we discussing all season. I'm not gonna lie, that's my show. We're gonna be talking about power. So we spoiling that thing for you every week that we hit. But we're gonna let y'all go for the day. I'm Mia Sparrow. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X, everywhere at Mia Was Here 5_, at Mia Was Here 5_. You can also follow the podcast. We got a Twitter now, we got a TikTok now, and we got an IG. So you can follow You Weren't There podcast. You Weren't There podcast on everything. Chaz, give them all your information and remind them about the book.
Chaz DL, follow me at Chaz DL on all platforms. Also Spotify, check out at Chaz DL all the previous work, and The Bird by the Door. Make sure you hit me up and get that. Like I said, it's direct to consumer, straight to you. Birds by the Door, motivation for the soul. Make sure you check that out, man.
For sure, man. We love you. We appreciate you tuning into the You Weren't There podcast. And we'll see y'all again next week, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.
Peace.